Right, this is deck profiled for Fabled. Right, 3 Cerberels, 3 Chawas. Those two are basically the main engine of the deck. 3 Grimro. He's probably the second or third biggest card in the deck. 2 Crews. A lot of people like to run him at 3. I don't. I think he's a little overkill at 3, because if you draw him and you can't use his discard effect, or you don't have anything to get with his discard effect, he's useless. And he's not overly powerful or anything. 2 Ganesha, I might try 3 at some point, but my big problem with this is if you special summon with his effect, then he gets removed. So that's the only real downside to him. So you can't really recycle him. 1 Lori. A lot of people either go 0 or 2. He's big with Chawa for Formula. A lot of people like to do 0 now because Formula is dropped. But I still at least like him at 1 because he's not only for Chawa. But you'll see why I only run him at 1 later. Triple Tengu. This deck needs Tengus. I mean, it's absolutely necessary if you want to try to actually win anything. Snipe Hunter. He's got a really good effect. Discard 1, select 1, roll a die. If it's not 1 or 6, you pop that card. So it's pretty useful, especially in Fabled. Morphing Jar. 1, it discards your hand, so if you can special summon with it, and 2, if you have a crappy hand, it replenishes it for you. Chaos Sorcerer. I do run a mini version of Chaos in this. It's not overly big on Chaos, but I wanted to try to play Chaos Sorcerer in it because it adds a lot of stability, because if you just play all the Fableds and stuff, then and you go through all your motions and you get Warning, Judgment, and whatever you want to make the situation be, and you pretty much exhaust your hand in your field, and they stopped it, then you're screwed. So with Sorcerer, it adds a little more stability, because if you have Sorcerer on the field, or if your field gets killed or whatever, Sorcerer can kind of come out and get rid of a couple of their big monsters, hopefully. And the weird card, 3 Jester Confits. Now, the big thing with him is he's a dark, so he feels the chaos, and he's the reason I don't run 2 Loris, because Lori you specifically have to discard a special, and you really don't want to normal summon a Lori. It's kind of worthless at that point. But with Confit, he works really well, whether you just special summon him on and add on to maybe make a Trish, or even with Chawa, if you're doing Cerberel, discard Cerberel, special Chawa, then obviously you can't do anything with it, and if you gesture Confit, then there's your formula. And I just really like him. I mean, I try to find a use for him, and I think he works really well in Fabled. Spells, card destruction, pretty much a staple in Fabled. Avarice, big time deck that sends cards to the grave, so he's really, really helpful. Smashing Ground. Not a lot of the monsters in this deck are overly powerful. Even like the Synchro's Reagan is not overly powerful. He has a lower attack than most. So Smashing Ground's a really big help. Reborn, staple. Book, staple. Double MSTs, Dark Hole, staple, and Heavy Storm, staple. Traps are Beckoning Light, very underrated in Fabled. I might take him out eventually. He's really just going to be time will tell if he works, if not. But I really like him, at least for now. Divine Wrath, discard, and with all the monster effects, especially because I don't run an Effect Veiler, so stop Trish, stop Scrap Dragon, whatever you want to make it. Depriz, Dark Bribe, protects your big moves if you're trying to bring out a couple synchros or something like that. Big help. Stop Solemn, stop Judgment, stop Warning, stop anything really. 2 Compulses, big Exceed killer, and just really any big move killer. Mirror Force, and the double Solemn. Extra deck is Formula, obviously, with this deck. Unicorn, just because if you can time it right, his effect is amazing. 2 Reagans. I don't like 3 because, like I said earlier, he's not overly powerful, and hopefully if you can pull out 2 and draw 4 total, you don't need a third one. Hopefully by then your opponent either has killed you because they stopped all of him, or you've killed them, more likely. Android, because sorry for my arm, but Android, just because this deck is rampant with 5s, so he's a big one. Ally beats a lot of decks nowadays, and like I said, rampant with 5s. Gaia, overpowered 6. Brio, obviously. Black Rose, obviously. Stardust, obviously. Thought Roller, obviously. Trish. Fabled Leviathan. I only like 1. I don't know if people run him a lot or not, but I think he's pretty useful. Red Dragon, just powerful. And Utopia, in case for some reason you'd have a Tengu, like your last Tengu or something, and Grimro on the field or something that like is fairly useless on their own. You can pull out Utopia and just give yourself a little added defense to it. Alright, I'm not going to show a side deck. That's kind of pointless. If you don't know what's in a side deck, then you shouldn't be having one. So, alright, thanks, comment.